I am absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being and is going to pay.
I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff of my past, and I wasn't able to move on. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. It's hard because I want her to know that
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
The courtroom had been tense from the start. Day 2 of the trial wasn't supposed to be this chaotic, but no one could have predicted what was coming. Not the lawyers, not the reporters, not even the judge. It began with a strange energy in the air, something unspoken. Diddy entered wearing his signature designer suit, flanked by his elite legal team, projecting an air of confidence. But anyone paying attention could see the cracks beneath the surface. His eyes darted from face to face, scanning the room like a man waiting for something. Or someone. Security was noticeably different that morning. Additional guards stood closer to the defendant's table. One positioned directly behind Diddy, another hovering near the aisle. They weren't just there for show. It felt like they were expecting trouble. Then came the moment that shifted everything. The moment Diddy saw the post. Justin Bieber had broken the internet and shattered the courtroom's silence with a single, explosive statement. Not just a vague nod of support, not a recycled PR sentiment. This was a direct, explicit declaration in support of Cassie, loaded with first-hand details and a brutal public break from someone Diddy once called his little brother. The impact was immediate. Diddy's face went pale, then flushed red. His jaw clenched, fists tightened. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was catastrophic. Here was a star he mentored, defended, molded, and now that same star was blowing. Up his defense from the outside, a murmur rippled through the courtroom as attorneys on both sides began whispering and passing notes. The prosecution team knew what was coming. They'd seen the post minutes before and were already preparing. To weaponize it, Cassie entered shortly after. She wore a plain black dress with a white collar, simple, understated, and quietly powerful. Her friends surrounded her like bodyguards, forming a tight formation as she made her way to her seat. She didn't flinch, she didn't falter. Meanwhile, Diddy couldn't stop checking his phone. Every time he glanced down, his expression darkened. Finally, one of his lawyers reached over and gently took the phone away. But it was too late. He'd already seen everything. Then came the explosion. Diddy stood abruptly, too abruptly. The sudden motion caused the court bailiff to take a sharp step forward. Diddy's breathing was heavy, almost labored. A vein pulsed in his temple. He slammed his hand on the table so hard a nearby water glass shattered, drawing startled gasps from across the room. "After everything I did for that kid," Diddy hissed, loud enough for half the courtroom to hear. Loyalty means nothing anymore. The judge called for a recess, but the damage was already done. The meltdown had begun. Diddy's lawyers scrambled to contain the situation. One of them leaned in, trying to whisper something calming in his ear, but Diddy violently shrugged him off. "There will be consequences," he muttered, another phrase that echoed through the hushed chamber. When the trial resumed, the prosecution came in swinging. They didn't waste a second. They dropped screenshots of Bieber's post into evidence and blew up a photo of him with Cassie from years ago. In the caption, Bieber wrote, "I should have spoken up sooner. What I saw back then still haunts me." That statement alone carried more weight than a dozen testimonies. Then came Cassie's testimony. She walked to the stand like a soldier. Her posture was perfect, voice clear and unwavering. Gone was the nervousness from day one. This time, she came prepared to scorch the earth. The courtroom fell silent as she detailed years of surveillance, control, threats, and emotional torment. She spoke of text messages, Diddy demanding to know her location at all times, threatening her career, manipulating her image, isolating her from the industry. "He said I had to run everything by him. That's the deal if you want to stay relevant." Her words were like daggers. Each sentence sliced through the illusion of Diddy's carefully curated persona. When she mentioned that Justin Bieber was on a list of male artists she wasn't allowed to speak to without Diddy's approval, the jury leaned forward. It was the perfect match to Bieber's statement. Then came the hotel footage. The prosecution had acquired lobby surveillance from 2018. In it, Cassie is seen speaking to a male artist. Moments later, Diddy arrives, places a hand on her lower back, and guides her away. No physical force, but the body language spoke volumes. Dominance, control.